Hi and welcome. This is Matt Miano, Events Manager for the Town of Dillon. I'm sitting here with Councilmember Tim Westerberg and Mayor Pro Tem Louis Skowyra. I always get nervous I'm mispronouncing
Dead
your
on.
last name. Did I do it right?
It's Skowyra, just like it's spelled.
Yeah,
I thought you meant Louis.
Yeah. Oh, is it Louis or Louis?
That made you nervous.
Oh, man. All right. Well, listen, welcome to another edition of Dillon Dialogue. A lot of exciting things going on in the town of Dillon right now. We are currently in the midst of a polar vortex.
That's what they're calling it.
That's what's going on outside?
Yeah.
You know, it's at great peril that we're here at the studios tonight, braving this winter weather. It's been fabulous, hasn't it?
Oh, it's been
just
spectacular.
dumping the snow and
as you can see from our the view that we have and the perch that we're
right.
sitting in right now. Yeah, it was a
Snow-covered
spectacular day,
peaks.
snowy, and yeah, the polar vortex. There's a reason they call it that. It was freezing again.
What is the reason that I don't know why they call it that?
we don't either, but there is a reason.
There's a
they
reason.
call it
Perfect.
that.
Good enough
Right.
for me. Yeah.
Certain there's a
All right.
reason.
Moving on to more important. Well, actually, that's a pretty important thing. I mean, we live in the mountains.
It affects us all.
Yeah, absolutely. So winter is here. Come on up, go skiing if you're in parts other than Summit County. But if you are in Summit County and you're interested in what's going on in Dillon, here it goes. We're going to start off with the most scintillating topic of them all. We're not going to talk about water falling from the sky. We're going to talk about water falling from the tap. Water rate options.
I think I just heard every TV set out there just click off.
Click
But
off?
I think so.
People
So
are
there's
racing to their kitchens to get some water.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, they're not watching. We can talk about anything, but let's fake it and talk about water rate options. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's a process we undergo every 5 years. The town reevaluates its water rates, what we're charging our customers. So the town of Dillon has always had a tiered structure, and so there are different structures for residential units, for commercial properties,
right.
for multi-dwelling, multi-use, I think is the term. At any rate, every 5 years we sort of take an opportunity to reevaluate what we're charging for our services. This time around, we hired an outside consultant.
And is that do we normally do
We
that?
typically do, or at least
okay.
this is the second one I've been through,
Okay.
and I know in both cases we've hired somebody, some experts to come in and do
And I said
more of an independent evaluation.
Right. And those guys are
those
on
rates.
their. I mean, they know what they're talking
That's
about.
their
I
job,
was completely over my head, but sitting there listening to those guys and not understanding them, I knew they knew what they were talking about.
It is very complex stuff, and I don't see how laymen could possibly figure that out. So I think hiring
But
an
Louis
outside.
says he has. So clearly, you are not a layman.
Well, like Dr. Tim said, there's a lot of industry jargon there that is even over my head, Matt.
I don't believe it.
So Louis, I believe reading the packets that the recommendation is a fairly modest increase in rates over the next several years. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, that sounds right to me, and it really does depend on which
Which of
tier
those
you
categories
fall
you're in,
into.
of course. Yes,
So for example,
it's different for different users. That is correct.
Yeah, no, I think
For residential users, I think the increase was quite small over the next year.
yeah, if it was even an increase.
Or if it's even an increase,
I
maybe
think-
no increase some years and then it's 2% or
And
something.
it's
but
supposed to be spread out over a few years.
Yeah,
is that
spread out
correct?
over a
2
few
or 3
years.
years.
Correct.
3
Yeah,
years,
it's
I
an
think.
incremental every year. I
so-
think it's maybe a 2% bump or something to that effect. But anyway, we go through this study to make sure that we're charging people fairly. So this sort of enterprise fund, like our water fund, is not meant to make money. It's meant effectively to break even. And so this study was that I'm forgetting the group that did the study.
I'm not sure on that one.
They're looking to make sure that the prices are fair, that the prices are set such that it encourages conservation, and there were a couple other.
Yeah, exactly. We try to, as you mentioned, water and sewer. Sewer is a part of this study too. And water and sewer enterprise funds, which means that they don't make money, but they also don't get subsidized by the town, by the sales tax, the general budget. And so consequently, part of the water and sewer rate study is to make sure that whatever revenues we are asking for from users can be justified in terms of the needs to keep the system operating. So it's not like how much money could we make if we charged another 2% or 20% or whatever it might be. It is there justification for either the present rates, lower rates, or higher rates based on actual capital improvement needs and the cost of maintaining and running the system, particularly during peak times. That's another one of the problems is you have to have the infrastructure to handle the demand during the peak times, even though you're not using all of that infrastructure during the slower times. So the water and sewer study does help. That doesn't help us. It asks for justification in what, are the rates justified based on actual costs of running and maintaining.
And then I'm assuming it obviously shows where that water level, how those water levels do adjust during the peak times. Because obviously in the heart of our summers and our winters, more water is getting used. So I'm guessing that study shows all of that as well. So and that piece you just said about the enterprise fund was news to me. So learning something new every day.
And I think we're putting, aren't we, Louis? Aren't we building a new water tank? To increase our capacity. Presently, we only have. This is going to be an approximation now. I don't remember exactly, but a day or two worth of water in reserve. Should there be something that would cut off our Straight Creek water supply, and so the new tank will increase that significantly, so that we'll be in a much better. We're a little bit vulnerable with Straight Creek along I-70 there for the possibility of spills or contamination. So. Fire, whatever. So the new tank is part of the capital improvement expense that goes into justifying whatever rates we have for water.
And if I remember correctly, it was, I think that those have a shelf life or an average shelf life of around 10 years, and ours is 13 or 6 years. It was ready to be replaced.
Ours has been on the list since I've been on council and long before.
Yeah, it's been ready to be replaced. And so again, it's not, like you said, it's not something that we're making a profit on. It's justified through the study, and we're making a positive step forward, it sounds like, for our community.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
All right, what have we got next? These guys wanted to cheat off of my cheat sheet, so I'm actually going to jump down to this one.
Oh, okay.
What is that one? We can't see. You wouldn't let us see your sheet.
I'm pointing to you. I can't let them see. All right, this one is, we're going back to the marijuana discussion, which is the hotbed of conversation in Colorado and parts, around, and it's obviously come up here plenty of times. But at our last council meeting, we did have, was it the second reading?
It was the second reading.
5% excise tax.
That's correct.
On recreational sales of marijuana.
Yep, that's correct. So it was our second reading, and that was the 5% excise tax that the voters approved. I believe it was last April of 2014, I believe. So as soon as we have a shop up and running in town, which it sounds as though we have some interested parties, we'll be able to collect this 5% excise tax on top of sales taxes and. I'm sure there are a couple others.
And again, it's not an enterprise fund, but the 5% excise tax is intended to cover expenses associated with
security.
Police have to do certain kinds of checks and monitoring and so on and so forth. I couldn't begin to enumerate them all, but the idea behind the excise tax from the beginning, statewide, has been to allow municipalities and counties to recover the costs that might be incurred in the security and monitoring and controlling of these shops. So again, we don't anticipate that this is a moneymaker for the town, but we also anticipate that it will cover the costs so that taxpayers who may not choose to avail themselves of that particular retail option are not paying for the cost of monitoring and the security of them, but rather they're paying the users are paying the way.
Exactly.
And that's the way it should be, I think.
So let me ask you this. So we just had the second reading. So will you guys now be voting on this at the next meeting, and it will be in place, or is it in place?
It should be
I
in
believe
place
it's in
now.
place.
It's in
I
place.
think second reading is
Gotcha.
then calls for the vote.
And actually,
Should be
to go back, we were talking earlier, if you do want to come and sit in on a council meeting and hear about the different water rate options and stuff, first and third Tuesdays of every month at Dillon Town Hall, there will not be a meeting the third Tuesday of December.
Right.
But I want to say it's November 18th and December 2nd are the next two meetings.
Right. That is
So
correct.
come on out, because we do have the public readings, and you're there to be able to listen. There's a 5-minute opportunity for you to make comments, each citizen has an opportunity to speak for 5 minutes. So if you are interested in having your voice heard, by all means, come on down. All right, so we'll go back up. We've covered the marijuana. Now let's talk about stand-up paddleboarding.
Sure.
Maybe those things go together. I don't know.
I wouldn't be able to answer that either.
No,
but,
I don't know.
Well,
Good
stand-up.
answer.
Yeah.
Good answer.
The stand-up paddleboarding. Of course, many of you know who make it down to the marina in the summers, and I know many of you do. In addition to the Tiki Bar, which has always been a fan favorite down there on the waterfront, we've just this past year we've had Stand Up Paddle Colorado open up a shop down there on the North Shore of Lake Dillon, and they had a spectacular first season. So their owner, their operator, a gentleman named Javier, really had a bang up summer.
Yeah, he is spot on. When he first got the deal, he came into town hall. He immediately came into my office. We started chatting, and I mean, from the get-go, you could tell how passionate this guy was about the sport.
Yeah,
he's a good business person.
Yeah,
absolutely. And along those lines, he just came into us recently and talked about an opportunity or a thought that he had to expand his business down on the waterfront. So something that we are looking at with Javier and with Bob Evans, our marina manager, and through DREC, the Recreation Managing Authority on the lake. We're talking about expanding his footprint. So if you had a chance to get down to the marina this past summer, you saw there's a VW bus, maybe a late '60s VW bus.
It's still there.
It is still there. It's still there. Absolutely, it is still there.
I don't think it's going anywhere now after this snow.
Right.
Yes, so they had a little shed.
Yeah, like a storage container.
Storage
kind
container.
of thing.
That's what it was.
Exactly.
That's exactly
like
what
a
it was.
shipping container.
Shipping
container.
Yeah, so he had a shipping container and the VW bus, and that was about it. And then racks and racks, of course, of these stand-up paddle boards. And what Javier is hoping is that he can expand a little ways west, so towards the amphitheater, towards our newly redesigned Marina Park. And he's looking to expand his operations, maybe include a deck, just some more, a larger footprint for his growing business. I didn't know this until Javi was in talking to us, but he also rented kayaks. I don't know about canoes, but other surface crafts. So
yeah, well, he's renting all the stuff. He's doing lessons with all the stuff. He said that he bought a pontoon boat from Bob, from our marina, so that he's able to go out and assist people as needed. If a storm's coming in, kind of suddenly, obviously where we live, it can kind of creep up on you pretty quickly. So many different things he's got going on down there.
Did he even have a yoga?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Part of the deck.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's been doing the yoga yet, but part of the deck is
he had some
yeah,
classes
they had a
this
couple
summer.
sessions.
Can't you do yoga on the
paddle
on the
That's
paddle
what I believe he did this
I'm
summer.
pretty sure
I think
he
he
had
had some
some-
early morning classes
Yeah.
this summer that stand-up
I'd
paddleboard
end up in
yoga.
the lake.
I have a hard enough time just standing up on the
Yeah,
things.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of cool
That's a great
ideas
addition.
that
It's a great
that he's-
addition to the marina.
He was talking about like maybe offering fruit smoothies, stuff like that. I mean, just kind of really, re-envisioning where he is on the lake as a part of the marina, and then expanding it. And again, I think it's very early in his conceptual stage. But like you said, he came to council and shared those thoughts. And I mean, it sounds like it's a really cool opportunity, and we're moving in a positive direction with it.
Yeah, he has a very exciting vision for his business, and I like to think that the town could get involved and help out with that in some way.
Brings in some additional dollars to the marina.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it just
So it's a
invigorates
win-win.
that area.
Yeah.
It stimulates that area, and obviously we've got the park down there that at this point we're done for the winter, but they've completely remodeled it. I think the last thing they've got to do is just kind of do the landscaping. But next time you guys get down to the Marina Park in the summertime, you are going to be floored.
Yeah.
It is truly something spectacular. I don't know if I know you've
I've been by there, and
traveling a lot.
we've got a couple of, I suppose most people perhaps know this, but a couple of nice enhancements. I mean, paving the marina parking lot.
Oh yeah, that's huge.
And I've gotten a lot of very positive comments on, hey, that really looks nice, including some people are saying, oh, I'm not sure we need to pave that. What's the deal? And afterwards they're saying, that really looks nice.
It looks
and
great.
cuts down on that dust and,
Sure.
and all this stuff. And then as you're talking about right now, that Marina Park has been, what, a 3-year plan, at least a multi-year plan. The town is budgeted to redesign and
it's coming to
re-landscape.
fruition,
And it's, again, I get lots of comments. I think there's some lighting and some walkways to put in next
Yeah.
spring.
Okay.
But it's and I suppose some additional landscaping, but it's close to being done.
It's
and
real. I mean, it looks like a park. You know, it went
really
from
does.
great views to actually being a park with great views. So it really is pretty exciting to see a lot of these different projects come through, like the parking lot, like the park.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've noticed about the current council is that several members are quite interested. You know, going back to stand-up paddleboarding, for example, several of the members of this council are quite interested in expanding the options of things for people to do, things in families, in the summer as well as in the winter. I mean, just recently, last night actually, we had the community chat, and there was some conversation about, you know, what can we do to capitalize on that venue in the wintertime. So there's a lot of interest in finding ways that we continue to add activities that will draw families and individuals to the area for a variety of things besides necessarily going out sailing.
Right.
Yeah, it's the amenities that we can provide as a town. I think the playground obviously is one of our more frequented amenities in town, and now we're doing all that work.
When I
right
go to
next
that
door.
playground, I mean, my girls love it. You know,
I'm sure.
I go down there
Yeah.
with my wife, and it's just, you know,
Yeah.
we're pushing them on the swings.
Grandkids
Like,
always beg to go
holy
there.
cow!
Yeah.
We are
Grandkids,
so
yeah.
fortunate to have this right here.
It seems like the spot, and yeah, if it's a stand-up paddle boards or whatever it is, yeah, we're certainly keen on giving people more reasons to come down to Dillon.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting too is as Denver Water is allowing us to use the reservoir for new things.
They've been
we're
great.
taking advantage of that. Yeah,
Denver Water has been
yeah,
great
absolutely.
about saying yes to these ideas.
And
so
the stand-up
that's really
paddleboarding is
helpful.
obviously taken off. You know, so
Yeah.
good stuff going on.
Yeah, if you haven't gotten out there on the lake and done some stand-up paddle boarding, make sure you check in with Javier. He can get you set up and
Maybe not
really.
today.
Yeah.
Today might not be the best day.
Well,
You know,
today
down the
might be
road.
more like snowboarding than paddleboarding.
Yeah.
What it's stand-up Colorado.
Stand-up paddle Colorado, and
Stand-up
Javier,
paddle
if I got that
Colorado.
wrong, I apologize, man. I'm pretty sure that's the.
And I'm pretty sure that's the website too. So if we're right, we're right, and if we're wrong, Javier, call me. But it's standuppaddlecolorado.com, we think.
I think I hear the phone ringing right
I know,
now.
right? I gotta go.
Yeah.
It's all right. Everyone turned off the TV when we started talking about the water rate options. All right, moving on. Next on the cheat sheet, you were just talking about amenities. We've
Sure.
been talking about ideas that at this point are very early on in their
Yeah.
planning stages, and then you mentioned amenities. So this next one is an idea that would potentially be a positive amenity for the town of Dillon. Summit Stage a few months ago came to us, and they have talked about relocating the transfer center that's presently in Silverthorne.
Correct.
So then at our last work session, we had a little more of a discussion on that, and I'll let you take it over from there.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, I think you set that up pretty well. The transfer center, of course, is located in Silverthorne right now, right behind the Mountain Lion Cafe. I'm sure you've been by there before. Silverthorne has plans going forward that
Want to use that space?
they want to
for-
use that space for
Yeah.
something else. I can't even tell you
They've
what
got a whole
exactly
master
it is.
development
Right,
plan.
I'm sure it's an exciting project. At any rate, the Summit Stage is looking for a new home for their transfer center, and yeah, like you said, they approached town staff and our council representative to the Summit Stage, Mark Nickel, about a couple different options for locations for a transfer center in Dillon. So we've been talking about a couple different locations for that. Really, the ball's in the Summit Stage's court. Frankly, it's an idea that they have, and we're certainly happy to participate and make sure they have all the info that they need. But I can't say right now where that transfer center is going to be.
But I think, if it happens, I live up in Summit Cove, so, for me to get from there down to Silverthorne, it takes a while just
Yeah.
because of the way all the transfers go. And then to get on to Frisco or Breckenridge, it's even further. So
Yeah.
to have that a little bit more centrally located, have it, east of the I-70, corridor there, I think there's some big positives. I mean, wouldn't you agree? And I think that's why town council is probably
yeah.
intrigued by the opportunity.
I wasn't able to be at that work session, but did they talk about some of the advantages, or was that
They
really
didn't,
get
and
to that?
actually,
Okay.
the stage didn't have a
And
representative.
as you said, this is just an idea at
Yeah.
this
Real
juncture.
preliminary.
Nothing that's, we probably want to reemphasize here, nothing that's in
Sure.
the works
Yeah.
to happen.
Yeah.
It's just at the initial conversation.
What I feel like I heard was, hey guys, the summit stage wants to know if you're interested, and you guys said, yes, we're interested.
That's about the size of it.
Right.
That's where we are, and we've talked about a couple different locations, all of which you can certainly make an argument would increase foot traffic in some of our more commercial areas in town, which that's a good thing.
Plus.
Yeah,
that's a good
absolutely.
thing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's a plus.
And certainly, the stage is they're fighting an uphill battle right now. It's a free service, and they're trying to accommodate everybody, and everybody's getting all different corners of the county. I know they're trying to have each of their ride times be 30 minutes or less, which these are tricky problems to have. So if we can help, being more centrally located, maybe than even Silverthorne is, I think it's a great opportunity for Dillon.
And it's a great service. I mean,
Oh yeah.
It really facilitates moving our workforce around in the county.
It's so important.
Yeah.
We would, our economy would certainly notice it if that service wasn't available. So yeah, as you said, if we can be a player in keeping that service viable in the county, as well as for Dillon residents, and that's a huge plus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet. Good stuff.
Yeah, right on.
So stay
So you
tuned.
could get on
we'll
the
see.
bus, you could go down and get on the paddle board.
Then
You
you could-
could.
And where are you going?
I
Where
don't
you
think I
going
can. I
next?
don't know. I'm going to go anywhere. It's time for a break now.
You can paddle to Frisco, paddle back, get off the paddle board, get into the VW bus. No, you can't take the VW
Can you
bus,
put your
can
stand-up paddle boards in the front of the bus like you can your bicycle?
Oh, there's a darn.
Javier, get to the
That's-
bottom of this
Yeah,
bus.
that's another
Yeah.
conversation. Is that for
Or your
Javier? Or is that for the
kayak
summit
or
stage?
whatever, but yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. See, we're piecing things together here. All right, next topic of conversation, another very exciting one. This is just kind of more of a town council governmental thing, I guess. I'm not really sure, but you guys have recently decided on the local liquor licensing authority. I will let you speak to that now. Go.
Well, for years, the town council has served as that group, the local licensing authority, which means we have to approve liquor licenses, and it also means we have to put on another hat and be kind of a jury, if you will,
Right.
in cases where there are alleged infractions of some of the licensing regulations. Serving drinks to underage people, for example,
Right.
could very well find you in front of, in the past, the Dillon Town Council. But, I'll let Louis speak to this as well. The town council has decided that we may not be the best folks to do
Right.
that for a variety of reasons,
Sure.
including, we're not trained lawyers or legal experts,
Right.
among others. And so we've employed the services of an attorney to act on our behalf as the licensing authority. And we'll hear those cases, should they. By the way, they don't arise very often at all in Dillon. In fact, 5 or 6 years on the council, and I've sat through just one of those hearings. So it's not like this is an everyday occurrence.
Right.
But when it does occur, you want to do it right.
Sure.
And you don't want to be fumbling around once again with amateurs who don't really know the legal aspects of what they're doing. And so it's best to invest in getting somebody to do that has a background and experience in that work. And that's effective immediately. I think we approved that at our meeting early in November. So other reasons, but it just seemed to me like we wanted to do it well and to have somebody knew what they're doing, knows what they're doing.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great way to summarize it. In larger communities, the council wouldn't sit as the liquor licensing authority. That said, that's the way we've been doing it here for quite a while, and it does seem to be a trend, especially in Colorado, for councils to appoint, in this case, an attorney who does this regularly. This is something that I'm forgetting the woman's name, but she's very experienced.
Very experienced.
Her first name is Kendra. That's all I remember.
Carberry is her last name.
There
Kendra
you go. See that?
What
We
a
put us-
team, you guys.
put our heads
What
together
a team.
Nice.
We
Well,
recorded
and
that too. We
lend
can
a certain
hang our
amount of
hats on that later.
objectivity to it. I
Yeah.
mean, again, in a small town like Dillon, council persons know people who have liquor licenses. I mean, they frequent their establishments.
Absolutely.
They know them personally. They're neighbors, and it's difficult to step back from that and have a truly objective perspective when they're your neighbors and your friends and the proprietor down the street. The person that we've employed to do this,
from the front range,
doesn't have those things the baggage to carry around, and so I think it's just going to be a cleaner process all the way around, and a more objective and hopefully more fair to all the parties involved.
Now, am I also correct in understanding that she'll be handling, we said the local liquor licensing authority, but she'll also be the local marijuana licensing authority?
I think that falls under the same umbrella.
That's correct. Right. And again, something that she's already acting in that capacity in other communities. So something that she has experience with. And you're dead on right, Dr. Tim. It's a matter of being fair and maybe consistent, I'd throw in there.
And consistent,
Consistent. And the conflicts that you elaborated on just a minute ago, they're pretty apparent, and I think we all feel very comfortable bringing Ms. Carberry into this position. Not only for the liquor issues, but also for the marijuana issues. So when a business wants to when a marijuana business wants to come to Dillon, there will be a licensing hearing that Ms. Carberry will be tackling, as opposed to the council convening as the authority.
Less political.
Yeah, this is the right move. I'd say especially for a small town like Dillon. It just makes sense.
When you were talking about, the knowing of or the experience, obviously with marijuana just becoming, the recreational piece just becoming legal in Dillon, town count, this is new to everyone. So bringing someone who does have that experience is immeasurable. So
absolutely.
All right, cool. Well, the last topic, which is just going to kind of wrap things up, and kind of goes along with the polar vortex. We'll begin and end with winter time. We've got a lot of great winter events coming up. I remember a few years ago at the lighting of Dillon, Mayor Pro Tem Skowyra was dressed up as an elf.
That's right.
For our lighting,
he actually was not Mayor Pro Tem at that time. It was that event that catapulted him.
Hey, Louis,
catapulted him into this high-level office. So
now let me just ask you honestly, did you see him?
No, fortunately. I mean, unfortunately.
No, fortunately.
I was unable to.
It was frightening.
Yes,
I heard it was frightening.
They don't make green tights.
He filled those tights right up.
They don't make him in a boy's husky at all, unfortunately.
All right. Well, listen. December the 4th, the first Thursday in December. I'm guessing you won't see Louis in an elf costume.
Let's hope not.
Coming out, we're actually hosting the event this year at the Dillon Community Church, which should be a really nice change, a really cool upgrade. We're kind of reworking some things. We're going to have Santa and Mrs. Claus there this year. Photos will be taken with both of them. Hot dogs from Pugs. Hot cider, coffee, all sorts of good stuff, cookies. So again, that's December 4th, 5:30 to 7:30 at the Dillon Community Church. And then after that, we kind of roll into our Festival of Lights in Dillon Town Park. Obviously, the town will be lit up, and then we have a bonfire every Friday leading up to Christmas for the 3 Fridays prior down in Dillon Town Park. And that's hosted by the Dillon Business Association. They've got hot chocolate and marshmallows, and I want to say those bonfires start at 6. So, lots of good stuff to get you into the holiday mood. And obviously the snow gets everyone kind of jazzed up for that stuff too.
Sorry, I'm distracted. I thought I saw a reindeer running on that ridge line behind you there.
No, the reindeer don't run on it.
That is a part of our town history too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Elves and reindeer.
So the people at home that left it on the channel but then turned away, like the PETA folk, just their ears just perked up again.
Exactly.
They're paying attention to us again.
Too soon?
No, I don't know. Probably not. The reindeer was okay. The way I look at it is it's a great holiday, feel-good story.
Absolutely.
Reindeer, they brought a companion reindeer out, and they met up, and they got back. They got the reindeer back.
It was the best night of that reindeer's life. I'm pretty well certain.
Was he naughty or nice? I don't know. Who knows? All right, well, listen, I think that just about wraps it up.
Then some.
Exactly.
Right, and then some, yeah.
We have got a pretty hellacious drive home, I think, the three of us, so we'll take it slow. You guys be safe out there, too. Hopefully the weather will stay like this for the next few months, and we'll all get some good skiing in. So, Tim, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Louis, always a pleasure.
Happy to be here.
Awesome, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time on the Dillon Dialogue.